All right, well, we got some time while things were smoking, and I don't know, thought we'd show you the walk-in cooler. About 10 years ago, I built one. I've hunted my whole life. My wife hunts, the kids hunt, and I don't know. It always seemed like you'd always shoot deer on a Sunday night, every time. So it got to be eating up till 2 in the morning trying to hack up a deer and not spoil the meat. Then you're tired as hell, you got 2 hours sleep, and you got to get back to work. So one of my buddies had built one, and I was kind of talking to him about it. And I thought, well, I think that's a good idea. So about 9 years ago, we made a walk-in cooler. Our shop's not big. I mean, it's only 30 by 50, and I had a hell of a time giving up a corner. I did not want to do it, but man, I'm glad we did. It's roughly an 8-foot cube. It's made out of insulated wall panels. Most of them were 4 inches thick. I had a couple of walls where I only had a 2 inch, so I doubled them up. Just put in an exterior insulated door. Trimmed everything out of metal. I'm a sheet metal worker, so I was able to, bend my trims and get everything set up in there. Man, we've hung a lot of deer, a lot of hogs. We've got some cows in there. Chicken butchering, we get going on that. That stainless table you see us cutting on all the time, that'll go in there. And once the chickens go through the whole process, I'll put them on that table in there. It's summertime, and we live in the country. We got livestock, and flies are horrible. So get them in there, gives them a chance to dry out a little bit before you put them down in the suck down bags if you're doing whole birds. So we'll turn that down, keep it cool, and keep a fan in there, lets them dry out, bugs aren't on them. And when it's 100 some odd degrees, it's a nice place to be in there cutting. It'll go down to 32, but chicken butchering out doesn't work. It stays 40s because you're in and out all the time. So anyway, we used it 2 weeks ago, did a quick clean out of it. I need to go through and thoroughly clean it. We're not going to use it again until after the county fair, so it'll be July, and it'll be chickens. But when we're done, bleach water, bleach everything down, clean it all up. I'll let the Coolbot run for a while, try to dry it out, get all the moisture out. Don't want mold or anything nasty. Again, we're not USDA. I mean, you guys aren't trying to do that as well. Just have fun with it. Do it at home. I mean, you've seen our walls in the shop. It's dirty. I mean, we clean up the best we can before we get the meat out. Our smoker's set inside the shop. We live on back roads. I mean, it's dusty out here. Everything is just always caked in dust. You just got to clean it and do the best you can. So sometimes when I was watching videos, that would get on me. They're in these $200,000 shops, and they're running, $5,000 grinders and bandsaws, and they do it for a living. This is all stuff we do for ourselves, and we eat it ourselves. It's not for sale. Anybody can do this stuff. I mean, it's easy to do once you figure it out. It's pretty rewarding. I mean, we always taught our kids as far as hunting. When you trip that trigger or you let that arrow go, it ain't over with. You got a lot more work to go. So to me, it's kind of fulfilling. We run 4 chest freezers year round, and they are plumb full at all times. So anyway, let's go in and we'll show you what we built a couple years ago. So I just got some old rubber tarp curtains out of a factory. Kind of keeps the cool in as you're loading stuff in and out. And I just turned this on so you can kind of get a rough idea how the Coolbot works. But if you look around, it's all insulated panels. We just trimmed everything out. Behind every corner, these panels, when they lock together, there's actually caulk sealant, so when you smash them together, it seals. And we went back through and caulked all the joints. Behind every corner is either silicone or great stuff. Up there, the hook where the bramble goes through for hanging deer, I didn't caulk that, and they have to be so airtight because of the Coolbot. I had condensation. So once I built it, started playing with it, had to do a little rework on it. I needed a place for hanging meat, so we just took galvanized gas pipe, kind of made a meat rack up top. So we can bring them in, skin them here, let them cool, and then like last week, we had 3 hogs in here, so we put them all up on the rails. I bent some stainless into hooks, sharpen them up. That way when we're hanging, we got all our hooks ready to go, and we can put them right up on the rail and let them cool. Just keep the meat saw and stuff in here. Got a couple of small stainless tables to put whatever on. This little dude here it's just cool. It's called a Coolbot. Look them up. They have a website. It's an awesome little thing. So to run it, you got to have an air conditioner, a window shaker. On the window shakers, though, it has to be digital. It cannot be an old school dial one. They have to be digital. Okay. So what you do is you take the sensor that any air conditioner would have that sets in the fins. You pull it out, get it off of the fins. Now, if you go up here and you look at the Coolbot, you got 4 things down here. You got room, you got fin, you got heater, and power. Okay, so of course power is the power to the Coolbot. The room is just a sensor, and it goes up and hangs, and that just lets you know what the temperature of the room is. And that is this number that you see on the Coolbot, okay? So now you have one that is fin and one that is heater. The fin actually comes down and it ties into, you just take your pocket knife and carefully open up the fins not to hit the copper. And you want to set it about 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom. What that does is it senses ice. So all this does is trick this thing into thinking that it's always hot, so it never shuts off. So as it's doing that and tricking it, and if it runs so long with the compressor, it'll start building ice on the coils. You'll get ice build up on these coils, which this fin sensor senses it, and it shuts power to the compressor. So the compressor will die out, your fan continues to run. As your fan's pulling across that coil, it melts it, basically turns it into a defrost mode. Defrost the coil, and then it'll pick it back up. Now, most of you know, like a window shaker, you can only turn them down to 68 degrees, maybe some go to 65. That's where this heater comes in. When you take the sensor that used to be, stock on the coil, you take that out, and then you take your heater, and it kind of ties together with a piece of aluminum foil. So if you look up here right now, well, if you look over there, you can see that now it's going to quit doing it. There it is. It's blinking on the heater mode. So what it's doing right now is it's coming over here. If you touch this, it's warm. It's warm to the touch. So what it's doing is it's tricking the window shaker into saying, hey, right now it's telling it it's 96 degrees in here. So that window shaker's like, oh, I got to run. So it will run, and it just keeps doing that cycle. And as it starts to freeze, you get your ice build up, catches your fin sensor shuts it off, kills the compressor, and it just goes. We've had this thing, there's been times where it's ran 2 to 3 weeks nonstop, and it keeps up with it. If you go to the website, it's kind of cool because it'll tell you, or it will say, are you going to do meat? Are you trying to do cheeses? Are you trying to do vegetables? What are you trying to do with the cooler? And then it'll tell you, or it'll give dimensions. So 8 by 8 by 8, or it's 12 by 16 by whatever. And it will tell you what BTU air conditioner you should have for that size of the cooler. And I believe they set it with opening the door once an hour. Again, these are not a commercial setup, but like with those hogs the other day when we hung them in here, they got up to probably 55 for the first couple hours. But that was, probably 700 plus pounds of meat hanging in here. It was hot. Within an hour or two, I had it down to 45, and within 4 or 5 hours, I was running and maintaining 36 degrees. It's just, they're cool little deals. Since I built this one, I bet I've had 6 or 8 guys, friends of mine, that have called and asked questions, come over and looked at it, and built their own. There's a lot of guys out here now that got them, and they're just a godsend. That Coolbot is not cheap. Again, it's been 9 years since I built this one, and I think I spent $300 to $400 on that Coolbot, and they have not gone down in price. But, I mean, I couldn't even, actually I can't tell you. I got it out there, but I think we're up to 68 deer. We've hung in here, I think it was like 20 hogs and 3 cows, plus all the chickens. The other cool part is when we have graduation parties or big family get-togethers, it's always in the summertime. We usually do a big 4th of July party. We turn this on, everybody, desserts, bottled water, beer. We load this thing. And then instead of jamming up the refrigerator, everybody just comes in here, puts all their cool stuff in, 100 degrees, and it'll maintain it at 36 degrees. We have started seedlings in here, tomatoes, peppers, things like that. Off those the top rail at the top, we would actually drop lights with chains. Chains are still setting up here, but we'd hang them chains down and we get the lights down low. We'd have 2 tables in here, and of course that's not running, but you know, they were just grow lights, and we would start all our stuff in the gardens in here. So we've got a lot of use out of it, and then in the off time, a lot of it just kind of turns into storage. We put a lot of stuff in here, and bows or whatever we need out of the way we're not going to use. So anyway, I just thought you guys might like to see it, and it's been in some of our videos in the background and whatnot. But all the meat we do, all that stuff, it all comes through here. And man, it's so much better than having to do it, you know, at 10 o'clock on Sunday night. Everybody's got to get up and get rolling by 4:30 in the morning. Come in here, hang a deer or hang anything. I mean, sometimes we'll let them hang 3-4 days, up to a week. Don't really push anything past a week, but it's just a nice backup. So, I don't know. I just thought maybe you guys would like to see it. But yeah, if you're interested, you order that Coolbot and check it out. They're pretty easy to build. You just got to have insulated panels, or some guys have just done fiberglass insulation and then plywood. I don't like that just because of bacteria issues when it's time to clean it up. You know, we try to bleach and clean, just get all the stuff out of here. Don't want anybody getting sick. So anyway, I just thought you guys would like to see that while we were out in the shop. So we'll catch up with you later.